Well, the classic event is out and I wonder if you guys are enjoying it. Sadly though, it only stays for 5 days, meaning the event really didn't last longer than it needed though. I get that it's short and sweet, but for people who are completionists might not have a problem with it. But what about the people that have to play gacha games and read scripts like me? It's not feasible. Well then, what about the games? Are they fun? Well, I'd say they're mixed. Remember the skepticism that some games just suck and some are not? Yeah, it really does apply here. Driving Empire, Toilet Tower Defense, Clip It is, I'd say, the worst denominator here. Driving Empire is just you driving around the taxi and racing. I mean, it's not that bad, but the fact that you have to race 37 times in multiplayer just to get the whole badge might say something. But it's really nice that the points doesn't tailor to whoever wins first. As long as you participate, you get 15 points, which I think is quite generous. But it is unbearably boring. But hey, at least I got a nice car throughout the grind. I really wish they put more effort into taxi mission, because no matter what you do, you get the same amount of money and the same amount of points no matter the customer. Like, there's no incentive to do this at all. Just wanna put it out there. Toilet Tower Defense, by far one of the most boring events I've ever played. While I appreciate they took their time to animate one by one, it gets boring after a while. People will never play TTD like me. I just can't breeze through the event because one of the objectives here that I have to beat it on medium, which is one of the hardest if you do not have a proper unit, which technically forces you to grind until you can beat medium. Thankfully, I have someone that can carry me through medium. Thanks Skibidi Toilet Fan for left me with insane difficulty. Once you complete all 4 objectives, you're given one of the overpowered units in the game for free, which is nice, and the game asks you to grind one more time by using the event tower. At that point, I decided to do hard mode since I have one of the best towers in the game, and by no means it was boring. Tower Defense Simulator doesn't have this problem for me, but the only problem that I have is the skill issues. I'm not used to doing solo because I'm already accustomed to doing quad throughout my lifespan. I mean, I failed the first one for not spamming enough towers, so that's something. Until the third map where I start to believe that this level is a Kaizu difficulty, only to be beaten by spamming Cowboy, because the minigunner itself is known to be not the best tower in Tower Defense Simulator. Oh, believe me, I've played during this event. Mortar is a very powerful AoE tower, but the problem is that they're blind, which generally should be used early in the game as they'll be hidden that's gonna pass through your defense. Flamethrowers are really good, but the problem is the same as Mortar unless it's golden. After beating level 3, the rest of the level was pretty much a breeze, and I learned a thing or two while soloing this whole event. You need more towers. Arsenal was really fun. It's a simple shoot up the enemy stick and that's about it. No complaints. People might have a lot of problem with Bed Wars, specifically the event itself. It is difficult, like upon death, you lose everything except your armor, which only replaces wooden armor. The only way to find the diamonds and materials is through finding these crates, but the problem here is that you don't have enough time before the next wave, which means your aiming skills matters here. But the problem is that most of these items are not shareable, so everyone is out for themselves despite being the Minecraft clone game mode. This event was excruciatingly hard, meaning that you must never die at all or you will have to pay an incredible amount of setbacks. Not to mention, once your bed is destroyed, enemies will become faster and be able to regenerate their HP, which means you can't just cheese the whole section without the bed. You need a whole set of team that knows what they're doing, and hopefully they've played this game before. And honestly, with the right team, this was the most fun I ever had, especially during the final wave where the beds get destroyed and we all have the best gear in the game. It was an adrenaline rush because essentially the enemies get stronger and so do we. One of our teammates was planning to run, but I didn't. I decided to continue rushing, which lifted his spirit to fight back alongside me. I really thought everyone had died because the bed got destroyed. After I kept pushing, the boss had died and the enemies start to dissipate. And oh my god, I thought we were goner. It was the most exhilarating experience and probably the worst if it wasn't for that good random team that I stumbled upon. So yeah, it's kinda a bit mixed for this one. Clip It is the most lackluster one. I had to use a guide because they want you to go through this dark map and hope that you could find text. And honestly, that was the best decision I ever made. I mean, you just record them whenever you find them and that's it. It's nothing. Blade Ball. I played it, but nobody wants to play the boss and you have to wait for 5 rounds to vote for it again. And I was lagging at that time, so I didn't bother. Adopt Me was playing the game normally until you get your pet maxed out. It's lame. Adventure Dragon was a bit interesting, but again, let down by the monotonous gameplay. Essentially, you find any eggs throughout the map, and then a meteor land, then you can finally get the badge. I lost the footage for this one, so whoops. Same goes for Dress to Impress. It's literally just obby after you get all the ticks. Bee Swarm Simulator has the same treatment as Bed Wars. The gameplay is tad bit boring. I feel like the bees don't do much other than farming for pollen, in which you can exchange for the bricks, but they don't offer much other than killing enemies, which is more than just farming. So my strategy revolves around killing enemies instead of focusing on the bees. And I lost because nobody focused on killing. A dusty trip. I get bored midway since I don't enjoy QWOP types games. Gunfight Arena is a bit lamer too. Essentially, you shoot the tickets until you unlock all the weapons. Then you use the weapons and kill enemies at specific amounts of time. And believe me, I'm having a hard time using these weapons as they're inaccurate as hell. You can actually farm yourself by blowing yourself over and over again, but it's only for explosives. As for the other weapons, you may as well just charge in front of them. Right, I forgot to mention about Lifetopia. It's just a shopping hunt and you deliver the stuff across the map, and you do that 15 times and don't even put them in the event ever again. Restaurant Tycoon 2. Well, you don't entirely do much in this event, so maybe because the fact that I've played this before and I don't have to do much, because if you're new to this game, you might praise it because you have a long way to go. All you need is to spam tables and let the classic customers come in. It doesn't matter what food you serve, but it's just time consuming. Well, that's summarizes all the games that I've played. I forgot to mention about the lobby. They're pretty good and I really like this lobby. It kind of reminds me of Egg Hunt 2017 with objectives where you have to figure out some of the secrets by yourself and explore the map more often. And I think the lobby itself is step right direction. Well, the game itself, they tend to miss, so I don't expect much other than the lobby itself. Now let's talk about the developer and creator items. I tried to get the developer cake. It is one of the most hardest thing to get because the queue is pretty damn long. One of the worst common denominator is laser Pengu. I'm sorry if I'm targeting you, but you couldn't last an hour. I was in the 80 queue and suddenly the player has left the experience. And now I have a sleep deprivation waiting to join these developers who let people in. At some point, I did join, but the problem is that I already fell asleep. Why did anybody think it was a good idea for this event to last 5 days? I just never get it. This is the price for the developers and the players have to pay. It's way too cramped and now everybody's out for neck. I tried joining Gnarwhal, but again, jam-packed. I tried joining Liam, but again, jam-packed. And soon after left. I tried to join Bereza, Mullets, Evil Artists, but a lot of them are either in the private server or they never ever open the join button. And the problem is that 80% of these developers here just straight up never online for the last 3 days of this whole event. How would you feel a random YouTuber giving a detailed complaint in this video? Meanwhile, I don't have a problem with Roblox staff except Inscription time where it is jam-packed. Thanks to Boulain for sticking a little bit longer, and I got the birthday staff cake because of this dude. As for the cream pie, I just joined a random live stream, although I advise you to be careful clicking those links since these people just can't be trusted sometimes. And that's all for the event. What do you think? What's your experience? Do you think this event is better than the last one? As for me, I'd say yeah, it's way better. Hopefully you get better things to come in the future. As I was done with voiceover and editing, the duck from the mountain has been moved. Essentially, you have to find all 4 codes around the map. Each corresponds to the color. Once you input all the numbers to the code, a vault will open. There is a sword, the diamond shank, 1 by 1. Upon interact, 1 by 1 spawns and starts attacking the player. The player must now use the weapon that they purchased from the event to defeat 1 by 1, as 1 by 1 literally just chasing around the players and doesn't do much. It was effortless. After countless balls that had been thrown, 1 by 1 fell on his knees, and then credit plays. You know what? This event really did give me positive thoughts until that final ending where it's just a slap in the face for all you've been through. That, in fact, felt disrespectful for the time and effort that players have gone through. Oh my god, how did you fumble that? I wouldn't complain if it really did give us a sword, but this? Yeah, this is no different from the last event. Let that sink in. Yeah, what do you think? Let me know in the comment section.